Hey, yeah, oh, 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 yeah.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, this past week, I didn't see anything major going on in the news, except for, the whole hostage thing going on, them returning hostages and stuff like that over there in the Middle East war or whatever, which no one really cares about, except for our greedy politicians. Anyways, so nothing on that front this week. I want to talk to you about a couple of shows. I just got done watching the 10th season of Forged in Fire on the History Channel. And, I very rarely do I like reality TV shows. But there's a couple, like The Amazing Race. I like The Amazing Race because you get to see different locations around the world. That's pretty cool. Plus, it's competition. Now, I also like this show called Forged in Fire on the History Channel. And even though I'm not a blacksmith and I've never done anything like it, I just think it's pretty neat to watch this art form that most of the old ways have been lost, but there's still some people that do it. Not very many. And it's just kind of neat to see them make these weapons out of metal. I mean, it looks like rough work, but it's just a cool show. This is some type of arts. And again, it's a competition, so I kind of like that. Now, there's a lot of competition reality TV shows that I absolutely do not like. Number one is Survivor. I cannot stand that show. It's who could stab who in the fucking back bullshit. And the fact that, the people get to vote out who they want off the island, it's haram. It's bullshit. It's not a competition. Because now you're basically having to cater to the other people on the island. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's why I don't like that show. It's about stabbing people in the back. And a lot of our problems today in society is because you got greedy people who want to stab people in the fucking back to climb on top of others to get ahead, and it's bullshit. Anyways, it creates degenerative behavior. So shows like that I can't stand. I've told you before, I kind of like the certain, like there's a couple of dating shows I've liked in the past, until they, you can tell almost all these dating shows anymore, most of them are scripted, or they're very, degenerate. So I don't like a lot of the dating shows, even though at first I thought they were kind of neat when they first came out. Like The Bachelor, that's the big one. It was kind of cool at first, but then you realize, the bachelors they're picking are like highly successful men, who have a lot of money. And then the women that are going on the show are just, they're degenerate women. And they just keep pumping them same women over and over in these fucking shows. So, you know, and then, oh, we gotta have our own, you know. So they created The Bachelorette, and it went to bullshit, you know, feminism crap. So all the dating shows just went to shit. And any of them, like Love Island, I've done a couple videos on Love Island. Absolute, the UK is super degenerate. The English are fucking so haram. It's not even funny. That show is god awful. The worst dating show ever created. Anyways, enough of that shit. Force and Fire, if you like, you know, crafting shows, and you know, it's just something new. It's different. You know, I like history and knowing about the weapons that they're making and shit. Like, it's just kind of cool. So even though I don't do any of that, you know, I kind of like some, you know, creativity, arts and crafts kind of stuff. But it was cool. It's a cool show. Check it out if you want. Moving on. Again, you know how I am. I'm real big into the paranormal stuff. PI for 20 plus years. And I like checking out some of these shows that come out just to see if they're on the up and up. 90% of the time, they are not. They're full of baloney. One of these shows I just got done watching came on Fox Nation. They only have one season. And like I said, you know, I checked out a few new ones lately. This new one is called Secrets of the Asylum. Now, I was like, okay, they're gonna go investigate an asylum. You know, a supposed haunted asylum. I don't remember the exact location they were at. And the reason why is because, you know, I'd say, I can't remember if it's the first episode or the second episode. I think it was the first episode. The guy goes, the main guy who's doing the investigation, he goes, and halfway through the fucking episode, he goes, oh, my girlfriend is a psychic medium. And I was like, get the fuck out, dude. Done. Over. I didn't want to, I honestly, I was not going to watch the rest of the season as soon as he said that bullshit. Because it's bullshit. I've said on this channel 100 times. And it's true throughout the world. True psychic mediums are extremely rare. I mean, super rare. It's like trying to look for a needle in a haystack. 2, they don't like, real psychic mediums hate publicity. They feel their so-called gifts, not all of them, but most of them feel that their so-called gift is a curse, not a gift. They don't like it. And they're not out to try to get publicity and make money off of it. So anytime I see one of these television shows, and the Travel Channel has the monopoly on the paranormal TV shows for the most part. This is Fox Nation now that this show's on. But anytime they start popping out psychic mediums, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck off. You're full of shit. But yeah, he goes and says his girlfriend's a psychic medium. And you have no proof of this because you're just going based on the television show and what they're telling you. Like, you can't test them yourself. So I don't buy it. Now, this guy and his girlfriend, and they bring in some this local guy supposedly, who's an investigator, who has investigated this hospital or asylum several times. And he did, honestly, I thought the other dude, the local guy, he didn't feel like an investigator. He just felt like an add-on to the show. I don't think, because he was real nervous and freaking out about everything. And then, you know, the girlfriends, you know, every time they go to another location on the property or something like, oh, yes, I totally feel that there's one there and there's one spirit there, and this one's saying this and this one's saying this, and he's all like, oh, you're spot on after we talked to the historian. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It's just so fake looking. You know, it just came off really fake. So honestly, I didn't care for this show at all. I thought it was terrible. This guy's investigating skills is haram. He really doesn't know what he's doing, and the fact that he's got his girlfriend tagging along with him, who, you know, she definitely doesn't know what she's doing, but she's all claiming she's a psychic medium, is just fucking bullshit. 2 thumbs down. Secrets of the Asylum sucked. It was terrible. Terrible show for a paranormal investigation show. It's not how you do it. It's just, it's fake. All that whole show was completely, practically fake. I guarantee it. But anyways, that's how I feel about that show. Let's get on to your B movie reviews. Okay, movieaholics, this week is Action Week. Now, I was trying to find some historical action movies, and I was thinking of The Patriot, but it's like everyone's pretty much seen that one. You know, for like, I wanted something that was done back in colonial times in America, you know, pre-Civil War, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, there's like practically no movies about colonial times, except for like The Patriot. That was about it. And I searched and searched. Anything else that was in that time frame was usually done, across seas, like in Europe or something. And it usually involved the English. But that was it, I did find a couple that was during that time frame that dealt with America. But It's about the only two, and they were more Native American based than they were colonial, even though they dealt with that time period. And one of them was more, most of the movie is done in England than it was over here in America. But I did find a couple. Everything else is, you know, like the West or America or anything, it's all Civil War crap. You know, it's all around that time frame. It's like the Civil War, the Wild Wild West, moving out west, that kind of stuff. Not colonial. Anyways, the first one I found is called The Last of the Mohicans. And it was done in 1992. And it made about 75 million. It starred Daniel Day-Lewis and Madeline Stowe, who's his love interest. Now, Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't play a Mohican. He's a white guy, but he was adopted by the Mohicans. Now, his adoptive father is a Mohican, and his brother is a Mohican. They are basically the last two members of that tribe. Now, instead of Americans, this deals more with, you know, Canadian colonial times. You know, when the French and the English were fighting over Canada or North America. The story basically is the English and the French are fighting. They're trying to get local militia, which is like, you know, at the time was more, you know, French and English colonists. They called them Americans, but, you know, they were colonists from the French and the English. They were trying to get them to fight for their war. The British was and the French, you know, different ones. The story basically is you got these two women who are the daughters of a particular general at Fort something. I can't remember the name of the fort, but they're being escorted to the fort to see the general. Now, the general had dispatched a couple of letters telling them not to come because you know, they're struggling pretty hard against the French at this fort. But the two messengers were intercepted and killed, so they don't receive the message. So they're being taken to this fort where General Monroe, that was the name of the general, their father, to go be with him. Along the way, a bunch of the men get killed by Native Americans. I forget what the tribe's name was. Huron or Huron, something like that. Huron or Huron, something like that. That's the name of the tribe. One particular guy was pretending to be a scout for the English, but it turns out he was actually setting them up, he wants to kill English. Apparently the English killed a bunch of his people and now he wants revenge. So he's kind of taking up arms against the English with the rest of his tribe. Now, eventually, the English general surrenders to the French general the fort. And then the French general tells the English general, you know, they can go their own way, they just got to leave. So that's what the English general does. And he takes his daughter with him. And when they do, of course, the Huron war party leader, the guy who tricked him, he brings a bunch of his people out, and they kill all the Englishmen, and they try to kill them, but they escape. The Mohicans, the three Mohicans, Daniel Day-Lewis, the adopted Mohican, he goes, they grab the women and they go hide in these behind these waterfalls. But eventually they capture the women. The Mohicans, they jump down into the water in the river to escape them, so they can come back and grab the women when they're taking them to the Native American village. Eventually they catch up to the Native American village, and Daniel Day-Lewis, he strikes a bargain with the chief, not the war party leader, not the guy who betrayed him, but the chief of the tribe. But it doesn't turn out exactly how he wanted it. There's another guy that's involved. He gets killed. He gets burned alive because he's English. And then, the one woman is set free with him, but the other one is given to the war party leader as his bride. He could have her as his bride, which he takes. But he wants to eventually kill her because she's English. So they go. The brother tries to stop him and gets killed, and then the father comes in. He kills the war party leader for killing his son. The other girl, she jumps off the cliff. She was in love with the brother, and the brother was in love with her, but instead of going with them, she kills herself by jumping off the cliff. And then, at the end of the movie, they're sad because the dad is the last of the Mohicans. That's where you get the name from, because he's the last surviving member of that tribe. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. It was an okay movie. It wasn't bad. It did have a little bit of action in it. There was a bit of fighting. But, it was more dramatized. And you had a love story involved in there. But for the most part, it was a decent movie. I liked it for what it was. I like historical movies if they're done right. So if you like them these type of movies, definitely check it out. 2 thumbs up. It's a good movie. Great acting. It's pretty good. Moving on to the next one. Now the next one is more Native American based than it is colonial based. But it did happen during colonial times. It brings in the whole Mayflower situation and the first Thanksgiving. Almost a Thanksgiving movie too. Anyways, the next one is called Squanto, A Warrior's Tale. It was done in 1994, and it made surprisingly, it only made $3 million, which was really shocking. I figured it had done better, but apparently not. It starred Adam, I don't know if it's Beach or Bach. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. And then Mandy Patinkin. But anyways, you see Adam in quite a few movies. He's, for quite a while in Hollywood. He's been like, when they won a Native American, he's like on the top of the list to play a part in a movie as a Native American. If there's a role in the movie, he's usually one of the big ones that's chosen to play the part, or he has been for a long time. I don't know about anymore. I mean, he's getting kind of old and stuff now. He's probably in his 40s or so. I don't know about so much anymore. But anyways, this is a story about Squanto. He supposedly, you know, helped bring together Native American tribes in America with the colonials from the Mayflower English settlers. It started the whole Thanksgiving thing. Now, for this movie, the English show up. There's a business guy, you know, he's a lord or something. He's not the king, but he's like a lord. And he sends a ship over to America, and they capture a couple Indians or Native Americans. And they go back to England. Squanto escapes, but his friend, there's another one, his friend ends up not being injures himself trying to escape, and they recapture him. Now, also to note is Squanto and his friend Aquin or something like that. They're from different tribes, but they're close tribes, like, you know, or villages, you know, people or whatever. You know, they're not too far apart from each other in America where they're living at. But they're friends over in England. Now, Squanto ends up coming across some monks, and for several months he learns English. He learns, becomes friends with the monks. But this Lord, I can't remember what his name was. I think it was George or something. I can't remember. Anyways, it's funny because I just watched the movie. He wants Squanto really bad. He wants him really bad. So he kind of puts out this signal that, or message to everybody around, that they're going to send another ship. Because Equan, his friend, tells them, you know, that there's gold near his village. He tells them that because he wants them to make a trip back and take him with him. And he says he'll help him find the gold. Squanto hears about, or the monks hear about this, and tell Squanto and say, hey, you need to get back on this, you need to get on this ship, blah, blah, blah. Well, at some point in time, George, the Lord George, or whatever, I don't think that's his name, but I can't remember exactly his name. Anyway, he sends some men out there trying to find him. They know he's there, but they don't know where, so that's why they did the whole ruse of, you know, sending out a message that there was a ship leaving back to America. So Squanto eventually comes back into the city. They recapture him. They send out the ship, and then Squanto escapes again. Now Squanto, he figures out how to get away from them with the help of one of the monks. He gets back on this ship, and then they're off to sail to America. They get back to America, and his friend takes him to his village, and then they turn on the English and destroy the ship and kill all the Englishmen. And he says, before you go hating on me of what I've done, go see what they did to your village. So Squanto goes to his village and finds out that disease from the Englishmen have wiped out his entire village. So he's the last one of his village left. Now the Mayflower came on, and this is a totally different ship. Had nothing to do with those previously from Lord George or whatever his name is. Mayflower comes over and his friend, his buddy from the other village, he wants to start a war with him. Well, Squanto steps in and says, no, let's not do this. There's been enough bloodshed. And the Mayflower people, the Englishmen, they've kind of taken up residence in Squanto's old village, which he accepts. He kind of joins his friend's tribe, and then they all have like a happy Thanksgiving together, blah, blah. They start sharing food and teaching each other's ways. And apparently there was a peace treaty signed, and it stayed that way for a few centuries, and then they broke the deal, and you know, they started killing each other again. But anyways, that was the gist of that movie. It was all right. It really didn't have that much as far as action. It says it's action-packed, but it's really not. You know, you really didn't have that much, as far as I'm concerned. You know, there wasn't really that much action in it. A couple of scenes where they did, a couple of dances or something, but other than that, that was it. There wasn't any like hardcore action scenes or anything like that. So it's kind of a letdown on that part. But otherwise, it was a decent story. It was about the only other movie I could find that dealt with, colonial times over here in America. But like I said, most of the movie was done in England. He was in England for the most of the movie. Only the last 30 minutes of the movie did they really deal with them being in America. You know, maybe 5 minutes at the very beginning when they capture him, and then, the last 30 minutes when he gets back to America. That was it. Most of the rest of the movie was all done in England. It's still a decent movie. It was all right. It wasn't horrible. It's kind of slow, but otherwise it was okay for what it was. So yeah, it was a decent movie. Yeah, it wasn't as action-packed, but it was okay. It wasn't all right. You learned a little bit about Squanto. He was a real person, a real Native American. He was involved in the whole Thanksgiving thing. So, you find out all about that at the end of the movie, how he helped them bring about Thanksgiving or whatever. The acting was all right. It had some decent actors in it. It's a Walt Disney movie back in the day, so, I don't know. It was all right. Just because of the action, if you're looking for more action-packed, I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It wasn't the greatest movie, but it wasn't bad either. It was decent. It's worth a one-time watch. Other than that, like I said, I practically couldn't find anything on colonial America. And I know most people have already seen The Patriot, so I'm not sure if I've ever done a review on it. It's more of an A-list movie. Maybe someday I'll do one on it. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you could think of any B-rated or underrated movies that you think I may never even have heard of, leave them out there. Put them down in the comment section down below. Put your suggestions in there. If I don't do them, it's probably because I've already done them or something like that, or, they're probably more fair well known. But, if I haven't done them in I don't know about them, and I check them out, and it's something I'd watch and do a review on, I'll give a review for you of them. So please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. Now, that's all I have for you this week. You know, so until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.